Welcome back again. We are going to learn a segment on Ein Yaakov from the tractate Pesachim. Since we're getting closer to Pesach, I figured we'll learn a little bit Ein Yaakov from Pesach, tractate Pesachim. So the title today is "Do Not Use Coarse Language." Rabbi ben Levi said, "A person should not utter coarse language, for the Torah uses 8 letters more than necessary in effort to avoid using an uncouch term. For it says," the example to this, it says, "God said to Noach, take 7 pairs of every clean animal, every pure animal, and of every animal that is not clean." Genesis 7:2. So we see animals that are not clean and animals that are clean. But it doesn't say the word tameh, impure. It just says not clean. By using the phrase that is not clean instead of the single word tameh, unclean, which is much faster, much more concise way of saying it, the Torah added 8 Hebrew letters. So Rav Papa says 9 extra letters were used, for it says, if a man is not clean because of an omission, Deuteronomy 23:11, here the use of tameh, unclean, would have 9 letters. So Ravina said 10 extra letters were used because tahor, clean, is written with a zav, with a vav, tahor with a vav, tet he vav resh. So Rav Acha ben Yaakov said 16 letters could have been saved by using the word tameh. If the Torah would have chosen to use the word tameh, it would save 16 words. 16 letters could have been saved by using the word tameh. For it says it's accidental. King Saul thought, he is not clean, surely he is not clean. That's from the book of Shmuel, chapter 20, verse 26. So in the yeshiva of Rabbi Shmuel, it was taught a person should always express himself in refined language. For regarding a zav, a man who has a discharge, the Torah speaks in terms of merkav, writing, merkav, while concerning a woman who has the same condition, the term moishav, sitting, is used. Leviticus 15:9 and 20. Although the same law applies to both man and woman, but it is not refined to use for woman the term merkav, writing, which suggests spreading legs apart, and that's why the Torah used moishav for a woman and merkav for a man. Furthermore, it says you should choose discreet language, and this was a statement in Eov. And it also says, my lips utter insight in purity. The Gemara asks, why do you cite a second verse? What novel thought, what's the chidush, what's novelty does it contribute? The Gemara replies, in case you will say that you must use refined language only when discussing the Torah law, because is the word of God. So when you learn Torah, use refined language. But when you're in the street, you're doing your business, maybe you should use more of an aggressive, coarse language. But not when it comes to rabbinical law. When it comes to then come and listen to the following proof that tells you that across the board we should always use refined language. But it also says you should choose discreet language. Now, in case you still object and say that this applies only when discussing rabbinical law, but when it comes to secular matters, you do not need to use refined language, then come and listen to the following proof. For it also says, my lips utter insight in purity. We learned above that the term writing is not used in connection with women because it has an immodest connotation. The Gemara asked, is writing not used in connection with women? But what about Rivka? The famous story that Rivka was riding on the camel. So Rebecca set off with her girls and they rode on the camels. So the Torah apparently uses riding for women, uses the term merkav, riding for women. So the Gemara answers, there it was normal for her to straddle the camel because she was afraid to fall off its high back. But what about Moshe took his wife by Arkivim al Chamayot, and Moshe and put his wife and sons and made them ride on a donkey, which obviously does not have a high back like the answer that we gave about the camel. So the term riding is used because it was normal for the sons of Moshe Rabbeinu to ride the camel. But what about Avigail was riding on the donkey? Another example in the book of Shmuel 25:20, it says there it was normal for her to ride a donkey because she was afraid. She was afraid of the height. Or if you prefer, say that she was not afraid of the night. She was afraid of the night. Or you can say that she was not afraid of the night, but she was afraid of David, that he would kill the entire household of her husband Nabal. Or if you prefer, say she was not afraid of David, but she was afraid of the mountain. As it says, she came down a trail on the mountain. So from here we see that it's very important from the Torah using seemingly added letters. We know that every letter in the Torah is precise, and the Torah using the words unclean instead of tameh so many times. And when it comes to women, they're using merkav and not using merkav instead of using moishav instead of merkav for a woman. For men, using merkav, which means for men riding, for a woman just sitting on the donkey or camel. Even though we saw with the wife of Moshe and Rivka on the camel, but they have a specific reason why the Torah described it that way. But in general, the Torah was used extremely precise, but at the same time adding word if we need to make it more modest. So how much more so we have discussions of Torah, discussions of rabbinical law, or even secular discussions should be done in a refined, modest language. As a famous saying that the way you speak can tell a lot about who you are, the words you use, the subject you speak about. So it's very important, especially in these times, to speak only good and to say it in a nice, modest way. Bruchim Tihyu.